Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moltrap here coming at you with another StarCraft commentary. We got Julyzerg on the right versus Iris on the left. He's playing for Team CJ. And if you happen to be watching this in the playlist, which is available, which shows all the games for this whole playoff series, you might have noticed that at the end of the previous game, I said that it was going to be MBC game versus STX Seoul. And that's because, I'll just pull this up again. I copied the stats from the Liquipedia, complete and utter hijacking from Liquipedia. It's a great resource for information about tournaments, especially the old tournaments. Go ahead and look who's number 2 on this list here that shows like they're in the next in line. It says STX Seoul, right? Look who's number 11 in the rankings. It's also STX Seoul. Guess who's not in the rankings on the left? It's CJ. CJ was actually second place, and there's a typo apparently. Unless I might have done something wrong also. I don't want to cast aspersions. But anyway, this is actually CJ versus MBC Game Hero, not Seoul versus MBC Game Hero. So very strong team, as you can see on the right in the second round. They actually ended up winning or getting first place in the round on the second round. So second place in the first round, first place in the second round. Very, very strong team. MBC Game Hero, the only other team that placed in the top 4 in both rounds as well. So this is going to be a really cool matchup that we're going to have here. And let's get back into this specific game. Julyzerg versus Iris. Iris, you know, I haven't given him enough respect over the years. This is Peaks of Baekdu, by the way. Not Shin Peaks of Baekdu, just Peaks of Baekdu. And he's a very strong player. Very, very strong player. And, you know, I feel like I didn't realize how strong he was. I didn't realize that he'd gotten actually very far in some tournaments of this earlier era that I kind of wasn't aware of. I just thought he was like a one-hit wonder where he got to the finals against GG Play that one time, and that was it. But, no, he was more solid than I realized, and I kind of realized that recently when I was looking him up for some reason. Julyzerg, of course, super strong player. He's going to go ahead and get an expansion up. He's actually sent out a drone to scout/harass as well. And you can see this is Peaks of Baekdu. There's the ramp leading up out of your natural, I'm sorry, out of your main rather. It's a very awkward ramp to hold because, well, it's a very awkward base to hold, I should say, if you're going off of one base because of the fact that it's a ramp going up out of your base. Now Julyzerg's trying to kind of get control of the top area outside of his base, so he's not gonna have to worry about that ramp too much, but it's a little bit difficult to do. Is that a command center? I think it's a command center there. Is that a command center? Might be a second barracks. It must be a command center, right? It is second barracks. Okay, I had to wait for the like next step in the building animation to happen. I was like, I forgot this was 2006 and Terrans went two barracks almost all the time. So, and I mean, it's actually, it makes sense too. I've talked about this before in some of my other casts with like Good Friend and stuff, that especially on a map like this, you know, when you've got that ramp to worry about, you want to go for those 2 barracks, or you don't want to get caught down your ramp. Essentially, it's so tough to fight uphill, and so you want to make sure that you've got a good military that you can actually take control of the map pretty quickly. So getting the 2 barracks makes a lot of sense in a situation like this. I mean, if it was Flash, he would have got commands that are first, but you know, this is 2006, so Flash is just a wee baby. Flash is what, like I guess Flash is like 12 years old right now, or 13 or something like that, because he actually, Flash started playing in the best tournaments just a year after this, a year and a half after this or something like that. So anyway, but yeah, so we do have the 2 barracks play. A nice little build by Iris, putting the supply depot there as well. And this is kind of cool, blocking this little tiny choke point against the Lings with a few Marines. It's going to force them to go around. Look at that. He even, as soon as he sees the Lings go around, he actually abandons that point to go around to a different choke. Nicely done. Just buying himself some time there, and then reading the situation and falling back to a better point. And you know, he could have easily just kind of waited for those Marines to leave and then come back, but he didn't know that. So kind of a cute little maneuver there. Just, again, making sure that he's got a little bit more time for both those barracks to be pumping out Marines. So, you know, now that when these Zerglings hit the top of his ramp, he's got, looks like 6 or 7 Marines instead of just like 3 or 4, since he got a little bit of, basically an extra production cycle on his barracks, or maybe half of one, but Anyway, we are going to see him probably get well, I think he's already got the academy up. We're probably going to see him put out a couple medics and push out. Once he's got a good squad of Marines and a couple medics, he's going to push out. He might wait for the fire bats. Might wait for the fire bats here, I guess. We'll see, but this is very typical build back in the old days. And it's just someone actually on the live stream a little while ago, someone asked me like, oh, what was the meta for TVZ back then? I was like, I described it exactly. I was like, you get like 2 barracks, you get like 6 or 8 Marines, you get some academy units, and you push out. Now he's actually waited for the fire bats. He's going on with that army, and he's going to produce 2 more fire bats probably, or maybe a fire bat and a medic to hold his choke point back in his main base while he moves with this push. He's just going to try it, and there we go. He's actually got, he started with the 2 fire bats, now he's made more Marines as well. So he's going to be fine against any kind of counterattack. That 1 Marine is really kind of out on its own. It might have gotten lost. The other Marines needed to drop more breadcrumbs, I suppose. But this is all just, you know, kind of a ploy to force. I mean, sometimes you see Terrence will actually push in on this. They'll go for actual attack. But usually this is to force these Sunkens because, you know, he knows this attack is coming. And if he doesn't make 3 Sunkens, he will get pushed and he will lose. A Hydralisk Den up already. All right. Not as fast as Shark's Hydralisk Den in the last game of the previous series. But a pretty fast Hydralisk Den nonetheless. Looks like he's probably going to go for this 2-base lurker play is what I imagine. And I believe that Iris saw those Hydralisks. I can't be certain though. And, oh, this is interesting. He's actually, so now Iris has kind of 2 little squads of units. And he's kind of pushing around the map in different places. He's looking for that 3rd base. So he went up to the top left, which is a common spot to put your 3rd on this map for the Zerg. And it was like, okay, there's no 3rd here, so I'm gonna go back and rally to the front. Oh, he's gone around the back. I forgot about. There's actually a 2nd ramp. He's actually bypassed the sunken colonies altogether to go into the back. Oh no, this is catastrophic. Julyzerg, really, frankly, surprised he didn't expect this, but this is a perfect timing. He's coming in right before the lurkers were actually finished, and now that the lurkers are here, he can come back here and defend this. So that's why Julyzerg was not too worried about the side route. It was also like a run by, because as we saw when we were looking at Iris's base earlier, the 2 ramps are right next to each other. So, you know, if he puts a couple lurkers next to those ramps, then he can protect both of them. But this is just right before he had the lurkers actually finished. And oh no, he's gonna lose the fire bats. No, the fire bats got separated from the group, and they were picked off and annihilated as a result. And you know, this is the, you know, squad behind the lines. They're gonna die eventually anyways, but there could have been a lot more if he'd had a couple fire bats there defending those Marines. So a little bit of a mistake there, I would say, or an oversight perhaps by Iris. He's gonna lose that whole group. He is putting pressure on with another group though. He's moving out into the map, but now Julyzerg has lurkers, and I don't think Iris really has what he needs to deal with these. He's gonna have a comsat station, but a comsat station only. And, you know, maybe he has 4 scans already, but it's not going to be enough to eventually kill all the lurkers. I think, he, you know, without a science vessel or 2 comsats. And again, you know, he's checked the top left. There's no base there. He's put some Marines over on the right side as well. Let's check for that. So he's making sure that Julyzerg isn't getting a 3rd, and I think that's the good play. He's not going to be able to just push in on those lurkers with sunken support and get a kill. So instead, he's patrolling around the map, making sure he has map control. He might even want to think about expanding himself, actually, but right now he's just pumping out units. I think he has a 3rd barrack, so he's just pushing out tons and tons of Marines at this point, trying to make sure he gets enough army out to maintain map control. Looks like Julyzerg might be trying to expand to the top left again. He might be able to secure it with some lurkers. Yes, nicely done. Getting those lurkers on the ramp. Very, very... I mean, it's pretty obvious, but, you know, a very smart move to go ahead and get some lurkers on the right spot to be able to defend most effectively. Getting some lurkers kind of out in front of his Sunkens as well on his natural. So we're going to see a little bit back and forth. And actually, okay, there's only 3 lurkers here. He scans to see them, but he's not going in on that. Doesn't have quite the forces in that little squad because his Marines are spread out. If he had all of his Marines in the same place, he could have gone. And just as I said, that he's actually going in on a nice little surround. The firebat's going in as well, distracting some of the fire. And he is going to break through, force a cancel onto that hatchery. And I was wrong. I was like, well, he's not attacking, so he must not be able to attack, right? And then he was just, I guess, waiting. I'm not sure what he was waiting for. Maybe he wanted to wait until the hatcher was a little further along or something. Maybe he was just waiting for the medics to finish healing up the Marines after a previous stim. But he does finally go in and take out that expansion base. And so now, again, Iris still on one base, so this isn't catastrophic, but oh no, here we go. Trying to push down that second ramp. The Lings get in the gap, body block the Marine squad in time to get those lurkers on the other ramp, which is a really cool spot, actually, that they can be not directly in front of the Marines and still be able to fire at Marines that come down the ramp and just say that he actually moves them out of the way. Oh, that's kind of cute. He can get a Marine behind there. Oh, he just sacrifices his lurkers. Oh no, brilliantly done by Iris though to take advantage of that situation, get a scan off, move his Marines into a nice spot that they can actually take out those lurkers. He loses that whole squad, but in the meantime takes out the 2 lurkers, and I think that's a good trade in this instance. But it's really kind of funny that one Marine was able to stand behind the main mineral line and just do some damage there. Anyway, Julyzerg now trying to defend against the next wave. There's just wave upon wave of Marines coming after him in different locations in different parts of the map. And the observer's kind of showing that there's a spot beside where the lurkers are not firing, that he can spread out his Marines to get in for a targeted fire. But there may be just too many Lings. Nice move by Iris, falling back to this ramp. Good control, pulling back different groups to make sure he's continuing fire onto those Zerglings as much as possible, and he pushes all the way up the ramp. So now he does have control of this high ground. He's going to be able to push in and try and cancel this base again in the top left. Just nicely done. If Julyzerg had had his lurkers just a tad farther down, then they would have been able to stop those Marines from running up the ramp and into his area. And somehow he snuck some Zerglings all the way into Iris's main base, though. They're able to see all this stuff going on, tons of barracks there, and they're able to do some harassment, slowing down the starport production, which is actually pretty good. It's a really late starport. Well, really late for 2021 standards, I should say, at least. But yeah, nice move by Julyzerg, getting in there, doing some damage, taking a few SCVs, doing some distraction, crucially. But can he distract enough to get a third up? He needs a third. And he's killing his own Sunken. I'm not sure what's up with that. Maybe the lurkers couldn't get by? Not sure. Maybe it just makes the rally awkward. But he's apparently feeling confident enough that he wants to get that Sunken out of the way so he can get his troops out a little bit faster. But yeah, like Julyzerg is just, he really needs to get a third base up at some point, and but he needs to be able to defend it when he does, and he's coming in here. He's put down the third. The lurkers are there. The Lings are a little bit late to the party, but they have brought all of the best refreshments, ladies and gentlemen, and they are going to be chasing those Marines out the door. And medics as well coming down there. So he's got enough Lings, luckily, to support there, but he needs a couple more lurkers there, honestly. He needs both the Lings and a couple more lurkers. If it's one or the other, he's going to lose to this next push. Now that Iris has reunited his forces, okay, he's got a second lurker and a third lurker. Nice. You kind of need the lurkers to deal out the most of the damage, and you need the Lings to actually be enough of a distraction and soak up enough hit points that the lurkers can do what they want to do. Now, each time, Iris has actually been very skillful and has scanned, targeted down the lurkers, and then dealt with the Lings. But if you can keep the Lings in the front and make sure that they're going to stop the Marines, or at least punish the Marines for going for a maneuver like that, you can still win the day. So that's kind of what Julyzerg needs to do. If he does not do that to defend this a third time, then he will, I don't think he's going to be able to win the game. It looks like Iris is like, haha, you can defend your third all you want. I'll go straight for the jugular in your second base, going around the circuitous route on the side. This map has so many twists and turns. It's a very interesting map, and he's actually trying to push in here. There's only one lurker. It's going to do a little bit of damage, but not enough to hold off so many Marines. Oh, there is a second lurker there I didn't see. Maybe it just finished morphing, or maybe it coming from the bottom, but he's going to target that down as well. No, he's not targeting the lurker. It's doing massive damage, and it gives Julyzerg enough time to bring in his extra lurkers and to dive into Iris's main as well. So he's defending his own base, and he's got Lings in Iris's main. He's got Lings all over the barracks. He's got lurker on the ramp. He's got everything everywhere, and he's fended off Iris's attack as well. Oh my goodness, the tables have turned so quickly, ladies and gentlemen, that all of the plates and silver have flown off, and Iris has been just absolutely just punished for this move, and it looks like he's just going to be absolutely annihilated. Look at this, units popping out. He's popping out some fire bats. It's actually a really smart move, but even the fire bats are just, oh, well, actually, look, he's microing pretty well. Julyzerg's not done yet, though, ladies and gentlemen. A second wave coming into the main here. Now, fire bats popping out of barracks can hold off lings, but not lurkers, and he's going to park some lurkers right on top of the barracks. There's one vessel there, but it's not going to matter, and there's the Chi-Chi as the third or fourth, actually, round of lings goes into his natural and starts taking off that extra command center as well, the extra resources. Julyzerg has done it, and what a game, man. I'm such more and more of a fan of Julyzerg every time I see him. And you know what, even though he lost this game, I will say that this did add to my increased admiration for Iris's play as well. He played that really well. Some of his micro was really, really on point, really, really skilled. So, well done on his part as well. Anyway, that's going to be game number 1 of not STX Seoul versus MBC game, but CJ versus MBC game. And next game is going to be Shirk, who won the last game of the last series, versus Zelos, another extremely talented and legendary Terran player. That's going to be coming up as the next game that ended up getting put up. But again, in the meantime, happy holidays, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. And GG. Thanks very much for watching. Oh, there he is, he's probably watching the replay and be like, what the heck happened there? I had that game won. I kept him away from getting a third the whole time, and Julyzerg's like, haha! I only need 2 bases, punk. Haven't you ever watched my play? He is a master of the low econ game. Anyway, I already said my salutations, so I'll skip him this time at the end again, but thanks for watching.